Creatine is talked about everywhere, but most people still do not know the real method that unlocks its full power. There is a newly discovered way to use it that transforms how your muscles store energy, how fast you recover, and how much strength you can build, and almost no one is using it correctly. Today, you will finally understand why some people see incredible results from creatine while others barely notice anything at all. In this video, you're going to learn the surprising truth behind creatine's effectiveness. You will see the difference between regular usage and the method that top researchers are now talking about. You will learn how creatine actually moves inside your muscles, why timing is not what you think, how to use food to boost its absorption, and the one technique that can increase your results faster than months of random supplementation. You will also hear the lesser-known details that supplement companies rarely mention because they want you buying more instead of using creatine the smart way. You will learn the secrets behind muscle saturation, a process that determines how strong you actually get from creatine. You will learn why two people can take the same amount, yet one builds more strength, more power, and more size. And you will learn the method that scientists have recently identified as the most reliable, the most efficient, and the most powerful way to use creatine for real measurable results. Stay with this video all the way to the end because the final section reveals the exact daily routine that makes creatine work at its highest potential. It is simple, it is clear, and it will save you months of trial and error. If you skip even one part, you will miss details that completely change how well creatine works for you. Welcome to our channel. If you enjoy learning real science without the noise, make sure you subscribe and join us for more content just like this. Creatine is a natural compound that your body already produces on its own. Your liver and kidneys make it every single day, and your muscles store it like a small energy reserve. It is not a stimulant, not a hormone, and not a shortcut. It is simply one of the body's most important tools for creating fast energy. Every time you lift something heavy, sprint, push, pull, or perform any explosive movement, your muscles rely on a molecule called ATP. ATP is the fuel your muscles burn first. But the problem is that ATP runs out almost instantly. This is where creatine steps in. Creatine helps your body rebuild ATP at a much faster rate, which means your muscles gain the ability to keep performing at high intensity for longer. This is why creatine is so respected in the world of sports and fitness. It gives your muscles access to stronger and more reliable energy during short, intense efforts. When your muscles have higher creatine stores, you can push out extra reps, maintain power for longer bursts, and recover more rapidly between sets. These small improvements stack up over time and lead to visible progress that you can actually feel during training. Your body can only produce a limited amount of creatine on its own, and your diet only provides small amounts unless you eat large portions of red meat or fish every day. That is why creatine supplementation becomes useful. When you take creatine in supplement form, your muscle stores begin to rise well above their normal baseline. Once these stores start filling up, your muscles gain the ability to perform at a higher level than before. Supplementing creatine does not force your body to do anything unnatural. Instead, it increases the total amount of energy your muscles can pull from during demanding movements. As the levels build up day by day, your workouts start to feel different. Weight that once felt heavy starts to feel manageable. Sets that used to leave you drained now feel more controlled. Even your ability to recover between rounds improves, allowing you to maintain performance instead of dropping off early. The real benefit of creatine comes from this elevated storage capacity. When your muscles are fully stocked, every explosive movement becomes more efficient. Stronger contractions, greater endurance in short bursts, and better output all come from having more available creatine inside your muscle cells. This is the foundation behind why creatine works so well for strength training, high-intensity exercise, and overall muscle performance. The real goal of creatine supplementation is not simply swallowing a scoop and hoping for the best. The true objective is to raise the creatine levels inside your muscle cells to the point where they are fully stocked. Think of your muscles like storage tanks. Most people walk around with tanks that are only partially filled because normal diet and natural production cannot bring these levels anywhere near their maximum capacity. When creatine levels are low or average, the muscles cannot perform at their highest potential. They run out of quick energy faster, they fatigue sooner, and they struggle to maintain power during intense exercise. This is why the main mission is saturation. Saturation means reaching the point where your muscles have absorbed as much creatine as they can possibly hold. Scientific research shows that with correct intake, muscles can raise their creatine content by around 20 to 40%. That increase is massive in the world of performance. When your muscles reach that elevated storage level, they behave differently during training. They produce energy faster, they stay stronger for longer bursts, and they recover more efficiently between sets. This is the state that athletes and lifters aim for, because it unlocks the full potential of creatine. Getting to this level does not happen from inconsistent use or guessing when to take your dose. The body responds best when creatine builds up gradually and steadily. It enters the muscles slowly over days and weeks, not minutes. That is why timing is far less important than most people think. What matters is reaching that saturation point and then maintaining it. Random intake, skipping days, or taking creatine only on days you train will not fill your stores. The muscles need a consistent and reliable supply so they can keep absorbing creatine until they reach their maximum capacity. Once saturation begins, the changes in your training become noticeable. Strength performance improves, short bursts become easier, and fatigue does not hit as suddenly. This is not because creatine gives an immediate energy rush, but because your muscles now carry a much deeper reserve of accessible fuel. When muscles are fully saturated, they do not struggle as quickly under intensity. They have the resources to keep firing at a high level, rep after rep. This is why focusing on saturation is the most effective strategy, not timing tricks, not complicated routines, but simply giving your muscles enough consistent creatine to reach their full storage potential. When people talk about creatine, one of the biggest questions is whether you should load it or not. Both methods work, but they work at different speeds. The loading approach is designed to saturate your muscles as quickly as possible. During a loading phase, you take a higher amount of creatine each day, usually around 20 to 25 grams, divided into smaller doses across the day. This continues for about 5 to 7 days. The purpose of spreading the doses is to help your body absorb creatine more efficiently and to avoid unnecessary stomach discomfort. This short, focused week rapidly fills the muscle stores and brings you to the saturation point much faster than normal daily intake. Once the loading phase ends, everything becomes simple. You drop down to the regular maintenance dose of 3 to 5 grams per day, and that smaller amount is enough to keep your muscle stores full. Your body no longer needs the higher dose because the major filling stage has already happened. Many athletes use this strategy because it brings results quickly. You do not have to wait weeks to feel stronger sets, better endurance during high-intensity exercises, or improved recovery between sessions. The loading phase pushes you toward those benefits in a matter of days. But loading is not required for creatine to work. Research shows that taking just 3 to 5 grams a day without loading will eventually bring your muscles to the same saturation level. The difference is simply the timeline. Without loading, the process is slower. Instead of 1 week, it may take 3 to 4 weeks of daily intake for your muscles to reach full capacity. The changes still happen, the stores still rise, and the benefits still appear. It just takes longer for the levels to accumulate high enough inside the muscle cells. The slower approach is preferred by many people because it feels easier, more comfortable, and less structured. Some users do not want to take multiple doses a day. Others feel more relaxed following one consistent routine without thinking about phases. The body adapts either way, and the muscles continue to absorb creatine day after day until the saturation point is reached. The key difference is speed, not effectiveness. Whichever approach someone chooses, the same goal remains in place. Build up the creatine stores until they are fully saturated. The loading phase does it quickly. The daily maintenance only method does it gradually. Both pathways lead to the same muscular environment where creatine can deliver its full performance-enhancing effects, as long as the intake stays consistent. One of the most common questions people ask about creatine is the timing. They want to know the perfect minute to take it, the perfect moment before or after a workout, or the exact window that will deliver the strongest results. This question sounds important, but science consistently shows something surprising. Timing is nowhere near as critical as most people think. The real key is daily consistency. Your muscles do not respond to creatine in the same way they respond to caffeine or pre-workout supplements. There is no sudden surge of energy the moment you take it. Creatine does not work in minutes. It works over time by slowly filling your muscle stores. Creatine builds up gradually inside the muscle cells. This process takes days and then builds further over weeks. The body absorbs a small amount with each dose, and that small amount adds to the existing supply. The next day, the muscles pull in a bit more. The result is a slow rise in total creatine content until saturation is reached. Because of this slow-loading nature, the exact time of day you take creatine has very little impact on the final outcome. Your body does not care if you take it in the morning, before the gym, after the gym, or at night. What matters is that you take it consistently and give your muscles the chance to absorb it every single day. When people obsess about timing, they often overlook the main principle that determines whether creatine will work for them. Consistency drives results, not timing. Missing days breaks the buildup. Taking it only on training days slows the entire process. Treating creatine like a pre-workout undermines how it actually functions inside the body. The muscles respond best when creatine becomes a steady daily habit, not an occasional supplement. This is why many experienced athletes choose a simple routine. They take creatine at the same time each day, not because the timing is magical, but because it helps them stay consistent. Routine reduces the chance of forgetting, and consistency keeps levels rising. Over weeks of uninterrupted intake, the muscles continue absorbing creatine until they approach full saturation. Once the stores are full, performance benefits become much more noticeable. You feel stronger during explosive movements, you fatigue more slowly during high-intensity training, and you recover quicker between sets. Daily consistency is the backbone of creatine's effectiveness. Whether someone takes it with breakfast or after a workout does not define the results. What defines the results is showing up every day, taking the dose, and letting the muscles gradually load creatine over time. This slow, steady process is the real secret behind making creatine work at its full potential. Another powerful method to improve how well creatine works is pairing it with carbohydrates or protein. Creatine on its own will still enter the muscles, but adding carbs or protein can increase the amount that actually gets absorbed. This effect comes from one simple mechanism inside the body: insulin. When you eat carbs or protein, your insulin levels rise. Insulin's job is to move nutrients into cells, and creatine is one of the nutrients that benefits from this transport system. When insulin rises, the doors of your muscle cells open wider, making it easier for creatine to move inside and stay there. This does not mean you need to eat a massive meal every time you take creatine. Even a moderate amount of carbohydrates or a small portion of protein is enough to activate insulin and encourage better uptake. Something as simple as a piece of fruit, a small bowl of oatmeal, a protein shake, or even a meal you are already planning to eat can help. When creatine enters the bloodstream at the same time insulin is active, more of it is transported directly into the muscles rather than lingering outside the cells, waiting for absorption. Many people naturally take creatine around their meals without even realizing they are improving the effects. When carbs or protein are present, the muscles begin absorbing creatine at a faster rate, which can help you reach saturation sooner. This becomes even more useful during the early stages of supplementation when your muscles are still filling up. The more efficiently creatine moves into the muscle cells, the quicker those stores can rise, and the faster you notice improvements in strength and endurance. Pairing creatine with carbs or protein works especially well for people who prefer not to do a loading phase. Because the absorption rate improves, daily intake becomes more effective, and the muscles reach their full storage capacity with slightly more speed. This simple pairing strategy gives your body a stronger opportunity to utilize every gram of creatine instead of letting any portion go to waste. It is important to understand that pairing creatine with carbs or protein is not mandatory. Creatine will still work even if you take it with just water. But if you want to elevate the process, increase absorption, and gain a measurable advantage, this approach is one of the most reliable ways to enhance results. It blends smoothly into your routine, it does not complicate your supplementation plan, and it allows your muscles to draw more benefit from every dose. Some people like to take their creatine close to their workouts, and there is a reason this approach became popular. Even though creatine does not create an immediate energy surge, taking it before or after training can slightly improve how the body uses it. When you train, your muscles become more sensitive to nutrients. Blood flow increases, the cells open up more rapidly, and your body becomes eager to pull in anything that can support repair and recovery. This environment can help creatine move into the muscles a little more efficiently, especially when paired with a post-workout meal that already contains protein or carbohydrates. Taking creatine before a workout can also be convenient for people who prefer having a set routine. When creatine is attached to the ritual of preparing for training, it is harder to forget the dose. This habit alone helps maintain consistency, and consistency is what actually drives long-term results. Even though creatine taken right before training will not transform that specific workout, it still contributes to the gradual saturation of your muscle stores over time. The timing simply adds structure to the habit. On the other hand, taking creatine after a workout has its own advantages. Right after training, the body begins shifting into recovery mode. Muscles are more receptive to nutrients due to increased blood flow and the natural processes that start repairing the tissue you just stressed. Many people already consume a protein shake or meal during this window, and adding creatine to that routine can help increase uptake thanks to the presence of protein or carbohydrates. This makes the post-workout period a convenient and strategic moment for creatine intake, even if the benefits are not dramatic. The key in all of this is understanding what workout proximity truly offers. It does not create a huge difference, and it does not override the primary principle behind creatine's effectiveness. It simply offers a slight advantage and an easier schedule. If someone enjoys taking creatine around training, that habit can help keep dosing consistent, and that alone makes it worthwhile. The body responds better to regular intake than to perfect timing. Some athletes prefer before workouts because it aligns with their mental preparation. Others choose after workouts because it pairs naturally with food. Both approaches fit into a routine that supports daily adherence. If the dose is taken near training, the body is already primed to handle nutrients, which can make creatine uptake a little more efficient. This improvement is modest, but it fits smoothly into the way many people already eat and train. The convenience of the routine often becomes the biggest advantage, keeping the habit alive and keeping creatine levels rising steadily inside the muscles. The most effective creatine routine is surprisingly simple, and it starts with understanding how much your body actually needs. For most people, a standard daily dose of 3 to 5 grams is more than enough to elevate muscle creatine levels and maintain them over time. This range works for beginners, experienced lifters, athletes, and anyone using creatine for strength or performance. The body does not require large amounts because the muscles can only store a limited quantity. Once those stores are filled, taking extra does not push performance further. It simply exceeds what the body can use in a single day. Creatine is not a supplement where higher doses create better results. The muscles follow a natural limit, and when that limit is reached, the body simply removes any excess extra creatine, gets filtered by the kidneys, and eventually leaves the body through urine. This means that taking huge daily servings is not only unnecessary, it also does not provide any meaningful advantage. People who double or triple the recommended amount do not reach saturation faster once the initial loading phase is complete. They simply waste product and place more work on their digestive system without gaining additional strength or endurance. This is why simple daily dosing remains the most practical and effective approach. A steady 3 to 5 grams per day allows the muscles to continue absorbing creatine at a pace they can handle. Over time, this consistent intake keeps the muscle stores elevated, which is exactly what creatine relies on to produce its benefits. The routine is easy to maintain, does not require tracking complex numbers, and fits smoothly into any daily schedule. Because the amount is small, it can be mixed with water, a shake, or any beverage without causing discomfort. Many people complicate the process by creating cycles, adjusting weekly doses, or trying to match creatine intake to specific training patterns. These approaches are unnecessary because creatine does not depend on cycling or timing to function well. The body responds best to a steady supply rather than fluctuating amounts. The simplicity of the 3 to 5 gram dose eliminates the need for these extra steps and keeps everything straightforward. Following a realistic dose also helps with long-term adherence. When the routine remains simple, it becomes easier to maintain daily consistency, which is the real driver of results. The muscles slowly rise towards saturation and stay in that range as long as the intake remains steady. The difference in performance comes from the accumulation, not the size of the individual dose. By keeping the plan simple, creatine becomes a reliable part of a daily routine instead of something that requires constant adjustment or monitoring. Creatine has been surrounded by myths for decades, and many people avoid it because of misinformation. One of the most persistent beliefs is that creatine causes dehydration or muscle cramps. People worry that taking it will make them lose water, strain their muscles, or even increase the risk of injury. However, research consistently shows that this is not true. Studies have failed to find strong evidence linking creatine to dehydration or cramps in healthy adults. In fact, creatine may even help muscles retain water inside the cells, which can actually support hydration at a cellular level. The idea that it dries out your body is more myth than fact, and athletes and lifters around the world safely take creatine while performing intense workouts. Another common myth is that you need to cycle creatine or take regular breaks from supplementation. Some people believe that constant use will somehow harm the body or reduce effectiveness over time. Science shows that this is unnecessary. Creatine does not lose effectiveness when taken continuously, and there is no need to stop periodically to reset your body. Healthy adults can take a daily dose for months or even years without needing to pause as long as they follow recommended amounts. The body's natural processes handle the supplement efficiently, and the muscles continue to absorb and store it effectively over long periods. Creatine also has an undeserved reputation for being unsafe or risky. Some worry it could damage the kidneys, liver, or other organs. In reality, studies repeatedly demonstrate that creatine is safe for healthy users. There is no strong evidence linking proper creatine use to organ damage, long-term health issues, or serious side effects. Problems only occur when it is abused in extremely high doses far beyond what is recommended, which is not necessary for achieving benefits. When taken responsibly, creatine is one of the safest and most researched supplements available today. These myths have persisted partly because early research and anecdotal reports were sometimes misinterpreted or exaggerated. Stories of dehydration, cramps, or supposed dangers circulated widely, creating fear and confusion. However, modern research has clarified the facts. Creatine is effective, safe, and reliable. People do not need to fear negative consequences when using it responsibly. Dispelling these myths allows users to focus on the real strategies that matter, like consistency, proper dosing, and pairing with food, instead of worrying about false concerns that science does not support. Understanding the truth behind these misconceptions is essential for anyone who wants to use creatine confidently and safely while maximizing performance benefits. Using creatine effectively comes down to a few simple science-backed principles that make a real difference in your workouts. The first and most important step is saturating your muscles. This can be done through a loading phase where you take higher amounts for a short period, or through regular daily intake at standard doses. Either method works, but the goal is to fill your muscle cells with creatine so they have a full supply of energy available for explosive movements. When your muscles are fully saturated, you will notice that your performance during short bursts of high-intensity exercise improves. You can push through heavier weights, maintain power for longer sets, and recover faster between exercises, all because your muscles have the energy reserve they need. The second key principle is consistency. Taking creatine every day is far more important than worrying about the exact timing of your dose. Your muscles build up creatine gradually over time, so missing days slows progress and delays results. Consistency ensures that your stores continue to rise and eventually reach the point where performance improvements are most noticeable. Whether you take it in the morning, after a workout, or with a meal, what matters is that it becomes a reliable daily habit. This steady intake is what drives the benefits of creatine, not occasional megadoses or precise timing tricks. The third strategy is pairing creatine with carbohydrates or protein. Insulin, which rises naturally when you eat carbs or protein, helps transport creatine into the muscles more efficiently. This means that combining creatine with a small meal, snack, or shake can slightly improve absorption and help your muscles reach full saturation faster. While this step is optional, it is one of the strongest ways to maximize results without adding any complexity to your routine. Even a simple addition of carbs or protein can enhance the efficiency of each dose, supporting quicker improvements in strength and performance. Finally, keeping your dose simple is crucial. 3 to 5 grams per day is sufficient for most people. There is no need to take massive amounts, cycle your intake, or follow complicated dosing schedules. Extra creatine beyond what your muscles can store will simply be excreted and does not add any benefits. Sticking to a simple, consistent daily dose allows you to focus on training and recovery rather than worrying about timing or quantity. When all of these principles come together, saturation, daily consistency, Pairing with nutrients and a simple dose, creatine becomes a powerful tool. Your workouts become more effective, your muscles perform better, and your progress accelerates naturally over time. Every set, every sprint, and every lift benefits from this combination, turning a simple supplement into a reliable performance enhancer. If you found this video useful and feel ready to take your creatine use to the next level, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more science-backed tips and strategies. We share simple, effective ways to improve your workout, strength, and recovery, so you do not want to miss out. Also, we would love to hear from you. Comment below your experience with creatine. Have you tried loading phases, daily intake, or pairing it with carbs and protein? What results have you noticed? Sharing your experience can help others and start a great discussion. Remember, the key to making creatine work is simple. Saturate your muscles, stay consistent, pair it smartly, and keep your dose realistic. Follow these steps, and every workout can become more effective. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join our community for more proven tips that really make a difference.